It's Podular. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 39. It is Thursday, July 24th. And we are going to pick things up right where we left off last week to finish out our Pacific Northwest recap, getting into the Northwest Tune-Up and Portland shows here today. Before we get into that, we've got a guest who had boots on the ground to help us recap with this. So we're going to intro her a little bit and talk with her. And we've always got some new shows to announce and talk through here. But before we get into all that, welcome you, my wonderful co-host, Mr. Scotty Fuller. Scotty, how are we feeling?
Feeling good, buddy. Feeling refreshed. We were at the beach last week. I was a couple Mai Tais deep. We had a good time with your boy Firm, and now I'm back in the real world. My baby's crying upstairs, and but life is good. It's good to return to normal life, and the one thing, like we said at the beginning of the year of this whole journey, is we don't miss a week. So we're back no matter what's going on, and pumped to kind of be doing a moonwalk through the Pacific Northwest. We started with the Saturday, Sunday shows, and this week we're doing Thursday, Friday. And yeah, ready to get into it. After we talk about a couple of new shows on the West Coast, Nate, we've got a duo of Los Angeles shows. I don't have the date in front of me. My bad.
November 21st and 22nd. So check out what day of the week that is. That is a Friday, Saturday run. Looks like the Friday and Saturday before Thanksgiving here at a newer venue called the Bellwether in Los Angeles. So pretty awesome to see.
Looks fancy. It's another Human Dream Artifact combo, which really cool. This, like we thought this was going to happen. These are getting sprinkled all over the place. So still excited to see what that means for the way that these two projects are going to be intertwined, and clearly that's kind of a part of this little mini series they're doing at the end of the year.
Yep. Good to see the theme still continuing here. Yeah, I mean, this venue looks really cool. Just taking a look at some of the some of the pictures of it. I think you said 1,500 person cap venue there, Scotty. LA in November, late November. Not many better places to be than that.
I was about to say, could be worse places.
Right. So if you're looking to escape, will probably be some crappy weather that I'll be dealing with in the Midwest. Great opportunity to get out and get on the beach and see some STS9. But yeah, let's get into our finishing up the Pacific Northwest recap here. And we've got an awesome guest here, friend of the program, avid Podular listener, one of our most loyal fans here to help us break it down, and Miss Lauren Lichtenstein. So, Lauren, welcome to the program. How we doing today?
Doing good, boys. How are y'all?
Doing all right.
Yeah, doing great. Very, very grateful to you. You came in absolutely as clutch as anyone could, because I fumbled our original guest today because I forgot to respond to his text message when we were talking last week. That was Moss Levinson. My bad, buddy. We'll get you on later. But you were so gracious to come on with us on about an hour's notice. So I thought of you and I said, if anyone's going to do it, she can. And just really grateful that you could come through for us.
Stoked to be here.
Good. Most of y'all might know Lauren from her amazing slap presence. As we were getting into this, I saw you invited me to some kind of slap exchange in Asheville. Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm actually really excited. It's the first meetup that I get to host. So
Hey.
Brooke, our good friend Brooke that y'all know and everybody knows, she normally hosts she normally hosts all the meetups and stuff like that. And so she said, you know what? I think it's time to kind of pass that torch. And she said, Lauren, would you be willing to do it? And I said, of course I would. So we're doing yaps and slaps because we be yapping. You know that. And it'll be at the Whale over in West Asheville at the location with food, lots of drinks, all that kind of good stuff. But I will have Asheville postcards and some stickers. And then we have a bunch of other homies coming with stickers and all kinds of goodies to exchange. So it's gonna be great. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Awesome.
As you know, I'm a huge fan of this postcard idea that you started. I think the art of written word and written communication is something that's needlessly dying off, and so I hope that this idea continues to pick up and people start writing each other from the shows. I think it's a really great idea. So Lauren, before we get into the Pacific Northwest show that you were at and the show that you were not, but you're going to help us break it down. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from? How did you discover STS9? When was your first show? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm from Virginia. I grew up in Southwest Virginia, Appalachian Mountains, Roanoke. I heard of STS9 probably around 2016. I was in college at that point. And I started listening to them kind of briefly on Spotify when they would come into playlist of mine. And I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. And then fast forward to 2018, I went to my first like big music festival, which was summer camp up in Illinois. And
Right.
so I had a friend who was like an old STS9 fan, like early 2000s. And he said, Lauren, there's a lot of really good music at Scamp this year. He said, there's one set you can't miss, STS9. And I said, okay, all right, cool. So I dragged all my homies and we went to the STS9 sunrise or sunset set at Scamp in 2018. And I was like, oh, so that's why you said don't miss it. And then like 2 weeks later, they played at Bonnaroo, which I was at 2018 Bonnaroo as well. And the act that was supposed to go on after them ended up not making it. And so the band got to play for like 3 or 4 hours. It was insane. Like not even the whole set is recorded on Bandcamp. That there's like 2 or 3 songs missing from the end of it. And so that was my second show, and they played Circus during that show, and I was like, oh, I messed with that. Like
It's
that's
Nate's
that's
favorite
some
song.
stuff. Yeah, I know Nate definitely doesn't want to shelf that at all. Um,
No, could stick
but
around.
but so they played that one, and I was like, all right, and I was hooked. I didn't go to any of the other sets that I was supposed to make it to that night. I was just like in awe in front of Sound Tribe for the second time, and then about a month after that, one of my friends, her name's Chelsea, which Chelsea friend, y'all know her, or
Yeah,
Hanahan. But
Best by
so
Scotty customer. Shout out Chelsea.
Yep, yep.
Hmm.
But so she was planning to go to the Richmond show in 2018, and she said, "So I hear you like STS9 now. You want to come?" And I was like, "Yep." And then in Richmond, they opened with Circus, and I was like, all right,
There it
I'm
is.
in. All
Yep.
right." So
Okay.
then I just started to jam, and then Portland, I actually got to celebrate my 50th show with the band. So very exciting that I get to help unpack this with you guys, knowing that.
Look at I had no idea about that when I messaged you and you said that. I was like, see, this is just the way that
Yep.
the world works. Yeah, so great. Pumped to break these down with you. Um so your initial impressions of Portland, of the
Yeah, I
sorry.
did. But before we get into the band,
Oh yeah.
have you been to that area of the country before?
So I had never been to Portland, but I had been to Seattle.
Hmm.
And Portland has always been one of those that was like a bucket list. Like I want to make it out there because the time that I had spent in Seattle, I loved it.
Hmm.
Brian Blute actually said to me before I went to Seattle last year, he said the trees look like they're drunk with water. And I was like, what do you mean? And then I saw the trees in the Pacific Northwest and I was like, oh my God, he's right.
Hmm.
So I hadn't been to Portland, but I had been to Seattle before.
Okay.
Awesome. Good stuff. So did you get into Portland like a day early or anything like that and do anything cool in Portland aside from the shows?
Yeah, so we flew in the day before the show, had some really good food, got to hang out with the fam, explored a little bit, walked around, went to the world's biggest bookstore where there was an alpaca outside with his own security guard. When they say Portland's weird, it's weird.
Yeah.
Definitely saw a slew of odd things there, like forks stabbed into trees, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's definitely an interesting city. But yeah, we got to explore a little bit, and beautiful weather, absolutely stunning weather there.
Yep. No, it's you think of rainy Seattle and everything like that, but the Pacific Northwest in the summer, just there's so much sun, so much to enjoy out there, and yeah, definitely is a weird place. as a fan of the show Portlandia, I never realized how spot on that show actually was. You think, okay, this is
Same.
way too weird for it
So
to
it's like a
hold.
documentary.
Yeah,
Yes,
pretty
like you're like,
much.
oh, it can't be that weird, and then you get there and you see trees like stabbed with forks, and you're like, oh,
Mm.
okay, so like it is that weird.
Oh yeah, for sure. So glad you could enjoy it. Um but yeah, getting into the crystal ballroom here, Lauren, and initial reactions on the venue and everything like that. How'd you enjoy it?
Yeah, so the venue was really cool. The sound was nice. I mean, I'm a real girly, so I'm always going to be right up front, which of course I
Yes.
was in Portland. I was on FIP's side for the Portland show, which is cool because when I started seeing the band, I started on FIP's side, and I always, always, always was on that side of the stage. And over the years, I've kind of migrated across the rail, but it was really nice to be back on his to celebrate the 50th show.
Yeah.
The venue was gorgeous. So when they say like crystal ballroom, like the chandelier had these really cool crystals throughout it, and the staff there was really great. The lights were really cool there because they were so. I like that the lights recently have kind of changed, right?
Hmm.
And I like when the lights are behind the band, like illuminating them. And that's how it
Hmm.
was in Portland.
Yep.
So anywhere you stood, at that rail or behind the rail, anywhere in that venue, you could see the whole band, which
Hmm.
is really important to me. So that was really nice. It was kind of so instead of going straight into the video and the stage is at the end, it was kind of catty corner, like it was shoved in the corner, and then there was like a VIP section over here, and it kind of tapered out. So that was a little different, but it was fine. It was great. Um, it was definitely enough room to dance around, so I loved that. But yeah, overall, the venue was great.
So, what? How did you feel specifically about the placement of the stage, specifically in the corner? That came off as a little strange to me.
It was a little strange for us too. So we walked in, and we were like, wait, okay, pivot. So yeah, I mean, I would guess again, I was up front, so like I don't really know what the vantage point was like further back, but I would guess like if the stage was up here, to the front left, if you
Hmm.
were standing to the back right, it might have been a little harder to see. But yeah, it
Okay.
was definitely weird that it was catty corner.
Yeah. So, Drew actually reached out to us about this, and asked us if we were if we were going to be talking about it, and we told him that we were doing this in reverse, and he gave us a little bit of info, just that he said nothing in that venue was centered, so that didn't help. Everything you load in has to fit into an elevator like a 4x3. None of the carts fit in right, so we had to take the front carts we had to take the front carts and semi disassemble them just to fit them in the elevator, so that it ended up going behind the band. The rear carts were even too big if we tried to take them apart. So the venue looked at trying to drag them up the stairs, but we ended up nixing that because it looked dangerous. It looked like a dangerous nightmare, and I didn't want lights or people to get hurt. So he said basically like the stage was wider to one side than the other. And everything it was just a little off center. And so and it almost took the band's entire gear just to um like there was almost no room for anything else other than the band's gear. And he said he was really pumped with the way they played, and ultimately the way it came out was pretty cool, but he said that it was a bit of a nightmare to get those things in there and make it work like that.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the stairs because I actually forgot about that until you just mentioned it. But yeah, that venue was chock full of stairs. And there was only kind of one way in and one way out. And it was a lot of stairs to get up to the main part of the venue. So that actually makes a lot of sense that getting the panels, getting all the equipment in, I don't know how they did it, honestly.
Yeah, he said that it was quite the load in. But yeah, just a little note to anybody that was curious. They really moved heaven and earth to get any kind of good setup. So it's cool to hear that you were pleased with ultimately what he was able to put together, because he did want us to make that caveat for him.
Well, yeah, they pulled it out. Whether because we didn't know that as the boots on the ground, like we didn't know that it was like,
Cool.
oh shoot, how are we gonna finesse this? Because they made it look good. They made it look right, you know?
Good. I think that's going to make him happy if he does end up listening to this episode. That's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Hey Nate, can't hear you.
My bad.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I've been trying to chime in here, but
So
um, no, I that all kind of makes sense. I have a very good friend of mine lives in Portland as well. And he's always just kind of complaining about how there is a lack of venues that are kind of this size in Portland. One being Rev Hall, which is where he saw the Disco Biscuits a few months ago. This one pretty much being the only other one that's kind of a between 1 and 2,000 person venue like this. So I know there's just kind of a lack of options for
Yeah.
STS9, but um, I mean, taking a look at some pictures, there's some unconventional things about this venue, right? Is like you mentioned, Scotty, and you two, Lauren, is how the orientation of the stage in the corner of the room. But I kind of like this, like great
Yeah.
pictures you sent over here, Lauren, by the way, too. The light bulbs set up around kind of the murals and everything like that, gave it kind of like that almost what would you call it, like Renaissance painting feel, that which kind of connects a
Sure.
little bit to the human dream theme a little bit here, right?
Huh.
I wish I would have
So
taken more pictures of some of the pictures that were on the wall because they were interesting for sure. Like they were very, very detailed, very cool, very almost Renaissance vibes.
Phipps is real close to Hunter here as well.
Yeah.
So that definitely makes sense that they didn't have a whole lot of room on the stage to fit anything other than their gear. But great stuff here. So getting into the show, Lauren, 50th show. It's a big number, big milestone, right? Did you have any expectations coming in or anything like that, or anything you were hoping to hear or
Well, so my biggest chaser, the one song that I haven't seen that I really, really, really want to see live is Satori.
mhm.
Um, and so I kept very casual. I'm not one to just like message the band and be like, please play Satori. It's my 50th show. But I kept like dropping little hints like on the lounge or on the Instagram post, being like, yeah, Satori would be great. So that's the only thing I
Mhm.
was kind of hoping for.
Mhm.
But the reality is that it'll come. And that's like the way
Right.
that it is with Sound Tribe, is that when things are meant to come, they come. And who am I to tell them what to play? Because they're so wonderful at curating these sets,
Mhm.
and just such this a beautiful way. When I wrote a scholarship essay for Camp Elsewhere, right? And in that essay, I spoke to the fact that they can do these beautiful ebbs and flows of energy, right? So they can go from upbeat, fist pumping, or whatever it is, to you're in tears, hugging all your friends. So whatever they play, I want them to play it. But I didn't have any expectations. I was just super stoked to be in a new state. I'd never seen SCS9 in Oregon,
Mhm.
and to be with a bunch of fam and to make new friends and all of that kind of stuff. So no expectations. But I had a feeling that I would see some of the new songs off of the EP and the singles and stuff like that. I just didn't know where in the weekend I would hear them. But
Mhm.
that was the only kind of thing I expected, which we saw.
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. And they give you quite the 1-2 punch to open things up. uh, Fat Move My Peeps, and then a really fat Get Loud here. This was one that was on the cutting board table for a clip here today, but we get into a lot of these Get Louds, so um, we elected to go with some other selections here, but yeah, I mean, setting the tone with a drum and bass banger into an absolute dance party. What's the initial vibe in the room?
Oh, it's like from the jump, everyone is hooting and hollering. The Get Loud, oh, it got him loud. It got him loud. People were moving. So it was a great initial jump up off the ground, and the Move My Peeps to start really got everybody like, oh, okay, all right.
Uh-huh. That's a gangster ass song to start
It's
off with on the
so
on the on the
gangster.
on the on the on where in that area. It just it you talked about the trees being drunk with water. That it feels like you're walking, like that sounds like the soundtrack has moved my peeps to walking through a forest like that. So a
Mhm.
very gangster way to start in Portland of all places. I don't know. It just feels like that song belongs there.
Yeah, and we'd be remiss to not say that the serendipity of this election, based off some other news that's happened in terms
Mhm.
of a side project.
My crew and I were
Just
talking
that,
about that too.
I
Yeah.
think I
yeah,
think that was a coincidence.
yeah, oh, for sure, yeah.
That's
But I
but
mean, the
what
serendipity of it, for sure.
whether
For sure.
Yeah,
because you could read it as a or
yeah.
so I don't know. I'm gonna chalk that up to coincidence, but
I'm with you for
I'm
sure.
sure I'm sure it raised some eyebrows.
Right.
Um, then you get into a Glass Z13 into Arigato.
Yeah,
Not
strong 3-song segue there where they did not stop either. I haven't seen these three paired together like this. Uh,
Glass Gato or sorry, Get Loud Glass Gato.
yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah,
a lot of
the
G's in there,
glass,
huh?
yeah, the glass gato was so the glass was one of my favorite glasses that I've seen so far. I really love
Hmm.
that song. And it was just funky. It was so fun. It was so like everybody we heard those little clicks that start off Glass C13. Everybody was like, "Let's go." Like everybody is really, really vibing with that song in particular in the crowd.
A lot of clicks in those two songs. You kind of get some snaps to start an arigato. You get the clicks to start a glass. So
uh-huh.
I,
Oh,
I
you're
like I
right.
like the pairing of that for
A lot
sure.
of crab
Hmm.
walks.
Yep. All right. Well, arigato. That takes us to our first clip of the night. Just like you said, just super funky section here. So that'll get us started here with the Portland clips. Man, I have really been enjoying the ends of these songs. And they're just absolutely going hammer time on just the effects and spaceship landings and everything like that. But oh, that was a nice little sizzle there for sure. We get kind of the five-headed monster going where you're not sure who to talk about after listening to that.
I know
But
who to talk about. Don't act like it's not Phipps again.
yeah, I was just gonna
Like,
say, like,
if
Jesus
dude,
Christ.
stop it. Listen, if you thought
Dude,
if you listened last week and you thought, man, they really only talked about Phipps. Are they going to talk about Phipps all day today? I can't make any promises because Jesus Christ, dude,
Yeah, yeah.
this is insane. And I guess this is because we're moonwalking backwards through this weekend. So this is really the first taste we get of him post summer camp in Sweden.
Yeah.
Um, boy, does it sound like they're playing in a corner right now. Just you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah, I
it's
and
like
it just
300.
the balance of the set list four sets in where you get two super OG tracks in Move My Peeps and Arigato, and then two newer tracks with Get Loud and Glass, and just how well they work together. Um, really good execution right out the gate. So, yeah, you again, you're our boots on the ground here, Lauren. Was Let's talk about Phipps like animation wise. Was he moving
okay.
his body in a
So,
way?
dude, okay, so we have to talk about Phipps animation wise, okay? Because
Okay.
Phipps tends to be kind of stoic, right? Where he's just like
Sure.
focused
Right.
in, he's like watching the rest of the band. Like you can see him communicating with the band, but he doesn't necessarily play into the crowd as much, okay?
Right.
Um, not this run, not this run, okay?
Yeah.
There was a moment in Seattle where he literally made eye contact with me and winked. Like he is like getting into the crowd, bro. And like it was the
Hell
same
yeah.
on this because you were saying like, oh, this was the first night of post
Hmm.
summer camp, right?
Hmm.
You could see this like look in his eyes of like, you don't even know what I'm about to do to you. Like you don't even know, dude. And so he is much more he's much more expressive with his body. He's standing up. He's doing his little toe tippy taps.
Yep.
He's nodding his head. He's winking into the crowd. Like,
He's flicking the
um,
wrist.
yeah, well, and so also in Portland, I got the pleasure to stand near Val for a lot of the show. So she came up
Nice.
and stood near our
Shout out
crew.
Val.
Shout out Val for real. She is incredible. But so she came and stood near our crew for a lot of Portland. And I kept being like, hey, like, do you want to swap? Like, and she was like, absolutely not. I do not want that rail spot. You keep that. And I was like, okay. But it was just, it's so cool to watch her watch him
Hmm.
because you can see how
I've
much
done this
fun.
before too. It's
It's
great.
so sweet and like the love that they have for each other, like
Hmm.
it's incredible. And so to watch her just be like, "Oh my God, like that's my man,"
Yeah.
is so awesome and to see him having so much fun up there. Almost like, let me show off for my lady a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Maybe. Like I don't know what that's like, but I totally agree. Like it is one of those magical things that you know if you know if you're deep enough and you know that that's who she is in the crowd, it is a lot of fun to just be like, man, that's cool. That's really it's just
You
sweet,
can
like
see
you
it, you can
say.
feel it.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
cool.
cool. It's really cool. We love you, Val.
Yeah.
So moving on here, we get something that we've been talking about for a while here, Scotty. Where they left off with this song with the first big basin since the first shows that we recapped here as a podcast back on October 18th,
Hmm.
2024. So almost a 9 month gap here. And we can't talk about that Chicago version of Big Basin enough, I don't
Yeah,
think.
I agree. It's like the G Funk dance of big basins.
Mhm. Yes,
You know.
and I mean, a little bit disappointing to see it not come back in that form, but good to see it pop back up in a set list
Absolutely,
again. Yeah.
absolutely. Everyone doesn't have to be the Chicago or the Camp Elsewhere one,
Mhm.
um, but boy, does that song have a high watermark
Mhm.
with those two versions of it, and I'm sure it will set a higher one. But I agree. Of everything we have to listen to today, cool that it's back, but wasn't worth clipping compared to some of the other moments of this run.
Right. Um, and you talked about seeing things in states for the first time here, Lauren. The interesting stat I was able to pull up: Big Basin has played Been played 16 times total only. And it has not been played more than 2 times in one single state. It's been played 2 times in California, Colorado, Illinois, and New York. And then everywhere else, it's just been 1 time played in a state. So Montana, Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina. I thought that was a cool little nugget about that song.
Yeah, this song's
good
on
job
the
spreading it out. Yeah,
I think this song's on the album almost 100%.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then we move into Strange Games. So good to see this one pop up again, like you said. Some of the newer music there. The shorter one without a modular jam, which provided space for a live debut, which I think a lot of people were waiting to hear in DC, but we get to it now here in Portland. So we're gonna take a listen to it and see how it sounds in the live realm of STS9 here. All right, like crowd loves it. Great. I mean, fucking crisp.
Do y'all understand how fucking good that song is?
Yeah.
Crisp
Like,
is definitely the word.
Yeah.
like, okay, let's talk about someone other than Phipps. Hunter and Alana on that song,
Yeah.
dude.
Yep.
Like,
Hmm.
are we in a smoky jazz hall in the 50s? Like, what are we doing over here? That song, can you imagine what the 9-minute version of that song is gonna sound like, dude?
Yeah.
Like, babies are gonna be conceived inside of the venue.
You're not gonna be able to stop it.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I see the opportunity for extension of that Hunter and Alana conversation in the back half, being boundless. And um, you know, let's just talk about Phipps again here too, man. I mean, just
Not to be outdone at the end there.
the piano line for sure is pretty awesome. Um, Lauren, take us there. Did Alana have the upright bass?
No.
Okay. All right. So recorded on upright, played with the electric bass, which I don't know if she hits that buzz like that with an
I
upright
was watching
anyways.
her.
Like
Is
I was
that is
watching
that
her
her
this
doing
weekend.
that?
She
do
does
do
this
do
like
do do
slappy
do
thing.
do 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 do
She does
do.
this like
Yeah.
slappy thing, and like then she like slides a lot. So I think maybe it's that.
Hmm.
I can't say I 100% remember from the like from that exact moment like what she was doing with her hands, but she did not have an upright bass. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
Um so we get this song three times over the course of the weekend, which me and Scotty had kind of have been a little bit of the belief that we'd be getting no repeats over these four shows. But things are a little bit different when you haven't been to this part of the country in so long, and
Mhm.
throwing in the wrench of one of the shows being a festival set as well. Um, that we probably shouldn't have been surprised that we were going to hear this song a few times over the course of the weekend, but. Three, quite a bit, and I don't know when we'd have to go back to the last time that STS9 has uh, repeated a song in back-to-back shows.
My crew and I talked about that a lot actually this
Mhm.
weekend of like, wait, they played Life's a Symphony this night and they this night or they played Portal multiple nights. We were
Mhm.
surprised too, honestly, because like my whole upbringing within STS9 has been they don't really do that. They don't repeat songs back to
Yeah.
back within a run. And so I was really
Yeah,
surprised by that too, but it makes sense, like this is what they're trying to push right now.
right.
And again, they haven't been to this part of the country in what, 7 years, 8 years, something like that.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it makes sense that, there were a couple versions of it.
Mhm. I thought this was the best one, my favorite
I
one
think so
out of
too.
is a little bit more extended at that end of it, and you kind of feel that first time played energy from the band a little bit too. So really, really strong debut here. Big fan of it. So then we finish things out with more classics here. I like to call this one the Grogly. Man, they've done it a few times. I don't think they've done it in a long time. But I mean, these two songs are a match made in heaven, and make for a fun matchup name for sure. This Grow in particular got Alana was galloping on this shit at the end
Hmm.
of it. So tight, but tight sounding as well in terms of length of song and just execution here. So overall, thoughts on the first set, Lauren?
Incredible first set.
Hmm.
I kind of like these shorter versions that I've been seeing in the past couple runs that I've been to. So, like, for example, like the 4-minute Strange Games, or I feel like the band is doing this really great job of giving us all the parts that we need to hear of the song in the most like punch in the face type way. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been neat to have maybe a few more songs because they did shorter versions of other songs that I've normally seen at 12 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever. So I don't mind these little shorter versions because I'm still getting that hit for that song, and all the things I want in it. So I think it's been cool to watch that evolution.
I really appreciate that perspective because that we were. I guess I don't want to say we were standing on the other side of that conversation in DC, but I think that the with the I think they played 18, 19 songs in DC. That felt like a bit much in terms of just letting certain songs expand, and it's cool to hear that perspective because I've never really thought about it like that, and that makes perfect sense. I mean,
Yeah,
you don't need an 8-minute Strange Game. So 4-minute does just fine.
right. And if they're using their catalog in a different way, like she said, to provide a certain punch of a certain part of a song, right,
Yeah.
rather than the entire thing, it can just lend to a different flow in the set list and give you a different experience, right?
Yeah.
Great perspective for sure. So we start set two with the Soul Slap. Never going to be upset with a set start. I think it's a great way to start a set.
Fuck yeah.
And then It's All Right into Mod. Every time I hear It's All Right, I like it more. It's just absolute dance floor fuel. It's just napalm for the dance floor for sure. And I think being paired with Mod, I want to say they did this segue on Jam Cruise as well. I'm going to confirm that real quick here, but um, I mean, you talk about back to back bangers that get everybody dancing. Um, yeah, It's All Right into Mod um from Jam Cruise, and then that went right into Nautilus too. So that's something I really enjoyed hearing a few months ago. Playing around with that for the first time, and this one maybe even better executed than that one. This mod goes off. It's insane.
Yeah. It's I guess it's interesting. There's no modulars labeled on this set list anywhere, but there are definitely some modular jams happening.
Mhm.
It's a shorter one on It's All Right, but the way that I heard this was It's All Right modular mod.
Yeah.
Which I just got a kick out of that. I was like, fuck yeah, that's a lot of mods and modulars.
It's the namesake for the show, baby. Yeah.
Exactly. If my dream is one day, just as a little hat tilt to us, they label it as a podular.
Oh, let's not get too crazy.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
I feel so seen.
And then Dusk Nugget. My God. Yeah. Before we say any more about it, let's take a listen to it. Movement of Ja people.
Man, that that dust nugget is fucking dumb, dude.
Dude,
Like,
dude, it was
that man, that dust nugget failed every single class. That dust nugget is so fucking stupid it drools on itself when it thinks too hard. Like that, oh my God, Lauren, talk
dude,
about
it was giving feral baby making music. Like the crowd was going crazy, and you can hear it in the recording too. Just the
Yeah.
wows, the
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
We were getting down.
Hmm. Yeah, I saw some videos of when they fully went into Gob Nugget, which 2025 is becoming the year of these key changes that are really cool that they're doing within these segues, which is very serendipitous because we talked all about key changes in the DC preview, and they've been doing a fuck ton of them since
Yep.
then, where you're hearing Gob Nugget come in and like before you hear them do that key change, you're like, oh wow, like that really works really well with Dusk, and then they like drop into the correct key of Gob Nugget, and you're like, oh, that was really cool to hear Gob Nugget in the key of Dusk, right?
In the darkest possible way, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, the G Funk teases
Yeah,
in the
I
second
was
half of
just
that.
gonna say, man, it sounded a whole lot like we were getting a
Like,
Dusk, yeah, G Funk, yeah.
there are so many directions you could take that. Hey, STS9, I bet you won't do it again in Dylan. I bet you won't. I bet you won't do it. Please do it. Please do it. I'm just kidding. I really want you to do it. That was dude. There's so many directions you can take that thing. I
Have they
du-
done that? Have they done Dusk into Gob Nugget? I think this was the first time they've done that too.
no,
Yeah,
but you
I feel
could
like we
go
would have.
Dusk, Gob Nugget, Monkey Music.
Yeah,
Sorry, Dusk, G Funk, Gob Nugget, Monkey Music.
yeah, okay, add that in for sure. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and the Dusky Monkey with the Gob Nugget in the
Uh-huh.
middle of it. I like that. Or G, you could go Dusk G Funk Monkey or Dusk G Funk Gob Nugget
Gob Nugget,
Monkey.
Monkey. Yes.
If you really wanted to buckle some knees for sure. um cool. And then we get the first Walk the Sky on the day it had premiered this day, right, Lauren?
Correct.
Cool. And they kind of go right into Walk the Sky from Gob Nugget as
Yep.
well. So I thought the Walk the Sky from Seattle was a little bit more notable for sure, but to hear that they can go from Gob Nugget to a drum and bass track like Walk the Sky is pretty cool. It kind of was in lieu of that pretty second section that we never really hear from Gob Nugget anymore, where I'm like, oh, okay, well that works. That kind of serves the same purpose. So
Yeah, that's a good take. I like that.
then to finish out the set, we've got our final clip from Portland here. A little ting. All right, all right, all right. That's the Hunter Brown show right there. That
Mhm.
is fucking chest pat fuel, dude. Oh my God. Man, just soaring, dude. With really good wrist action guitar too, during kind of the funk part of it, but taking over it and bringing that song into the end zone of when they bring back kind of the structured section of it. I haven't heard that inspired of Hidden Fist ending from Hunter Brown in a really long time, if ever. That's led by him. What I mean by that. So, does that track?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't think that there is a more reliable, and someone argue with me about this if you disagree. I don't think there's a more reliable jam section in their catalog than Hidden Hand, Hidden Fist. It it just it's always a little different. It always it's like it's their fight club or something. Like
Hmm.
they can just whoever's throwing the hardest at that moment wins and kind of seems to lead the ship, so to speak. But I we talk about 2015 Hidden Hands, Hidden Fists a lot in this on this show, but any hidden hand with Alana has the potential to feature as the main event any of these five members of the band. And I don't know if there's another song in their catalog that grants an opportunity quite like that for each of
It's a really fun one to watch them play in
them.
person.
Yeah.
It's because they're just giving that godlike energy, where you're just like, who the fuck are they?
The crowd was definitely like bouncing for this one too. So the
Yeah.
floor at the Crystal Ballroom is very bouncy, and
Mm.
you could like feel it as people
Hmm.
were just like, because in Hidden Hand Hidden Fist, it's like it hits you right here of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
boom, 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 you know, and so like you
Yeah.
could feel that on the floor, on the rail, all around you as well. Like as much as you could feel the passion coming off of them in this moment, like you could feel the crowd reciprocating it and like, yes, give it to me, please.
Hmm. And that's
Fuck yeah.
you said something about it earlier, Lauren, and that's something I really liked about this soundboard is there is a lot of crowd noise. I know sometimes people could take that or leave that. I think that's kind of a quintessential part of the real bangers, and those the more intimate venues. That I said it earlier, and we talked about the corner stage, but it literally is like a back against the wall thing in the situation, and I don't know. The energy of the crowd just it really comes through in the soundboard. I agree.
Yep. So that rounds out set two, and then I mean, can't put a much better bow. Well, I guess you could have put a Satori on it, but
Sure.
It's okay. It's okay. It'll
a,
come.
a by the
But
morning sun on
yeah.
encore doesn't
I'll
get much
take
better than
that.
that. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Um, I mean, encore is in all three of the shows which featured encores for this run. Incredible choices by the morning sun for this one. Then we have the Walk the Sky Wicca from the first night in Seattle, and then Firewall for the second night in Seattle. So,
That
um,
Wicca was, I know that we're not talking Seattle, but that Wicca, oh my gosh.
yeah, it was something
That Wicca
else
was
for sure.
insane.
um, well, good stuff. What's your feeling walking out of your 50th show, Lauren?
Grateful and so happy, like just I'm so grateful for this community and I'm grateful that the band has brought me all of the connections and the love and the inspiration that it has. I started making art again because of this band. I've made these beautiful connections with friends and places because of this band. It has reignited this desire to travel, whether that's with friends or solo, knowing that you can do that, Lauren. You can run that thing, and
Yeah.
um, And so coming out of the 50th show, I'm just so happy to be involved. I can't wait for 50 more. And yeah, ultimately gratitude. I feel very, very
Sure.
grateful that the universe put this in my sight, and that my friend so many years ago said, there's one set you can't miss. And I'm glad that I listened. So yeah, it was cool to have my 50th show, in a new city that I'd never seen them in, with the
Mhm.
majority of my crew. There are a couple of my core crew that weren't able to make it, but the majority of my crew was there. And yeah, it was an incredible night. And I'm so happy that I'm here.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll throw this back at you then. I mean, if you enjoyed your 50th show so much, why wasn't your 51st the next day? What the hell?
I know, I'm such a bad girl. I'm so bad for skipping Bellingham. And I didn't skip Bellingham because I was like, oh, it's a festival set. I was intentionally or originally intending to go to
Yeah.
Bellingham. But then with the travel logistics of the crew and checking into Seattle and all that, we decided to kind of prioritize fam time, which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
Sure.
My core crew that I like tend to stay at the same Airbnbs or hotels with, we are from all over the country. So some of them are in North Carolina, some are in Virginia, some are in Michigan, some are in Ohio, some
Hmm.
all over the place. I'm in Colorado. And so we kind of decided to, instead of doing the crazy shuffle to try to get up to Bellingham, to take a moment and stay in Seattle that night. We went to the beach. We found some cool rocks and shells, and we had a good dinner. And we just got to catch up. So it was nice. But after seeing the set list, do I regret it immensely? Yes.
I'm just giving you a hard time. But yes, I mean,
Fair.
I know you said you did have some friends that did make the trip up there. It seemed like most
Yes.
people opted for the route that you took as well, which is understandable. I think it's another few hour drive north of Seattle to get to Bellingham, and then you're coming back down south and stuff like that. So a little bit of a pain when you're going this way and that way, and like you said, the getting the shuffle done. But I know you said you had some notes from your friends who were in attendance.
Yeah.
Did they able to get there early and see some of the other music that was there?
Yeah, so the majority of my friends that went were able to get there early. They saw the people that performed before Sound Tribe. They kind of got into the crowd a little bit before. And boots on the ground reports from there is that it was a very young crowd, like a
Mm-hmm.
very, very young crowd, like a bunch of teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But that the kids were in it, like they
Mm-hmm.
were raging. There was crowd surfing happening at Bellingham.
Fuck yeah.
Dude, there
Yeah.
was there was so much excitement in the crowd from what I would understand. And everybody that I talked to the next night in Seattle was like, Lauren, you should have been there. So yeah, there was a lot of really, really big excitement there because a lot of the people that were there didn't know who STS9 were. It was people who were there for the openers and they just happened to get
Yeah.
to see STS9. My friend Cam said that he was like, I think I watched a whole batch of new
Mhm.
fans be born that night, which is what I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's really cool to hear for sure. And yeah, I know Chet Faker is a younger crowd for sure, so that makes sense. Um, I want to share this picture that they posted on their Instagram that I thought was just really fucking cool. I mean, this captures quite a bit of pretty sick energy here. And then
All
just
tuned
the
up.
all tuned up in the back. Yeah. Pretty fucking badass.
Yeah, for sure. I uh,
Um,
I I I love that news about this being a younger crowd. I mean, if we want if we want this band to continue for another 20 years, that has to happen.
Agreed.
The kids have to find them, and the more festivals that they can play like this, the better. Because that's how you do it. That's how
Well,
a
and
lot of
you
our
heard
friends
my
discovered them.
story.
Hmm.
I discovered them because of a
Yep,
festival set.
of
And a lot of
course.
people love to kind of like hate on festival sets sometimes. At least, some of the older heads that I've heard, in the lounge of, it's a festival set. this wasn't no festival set, okay? From some of the boots on the ground, they said it's not your old school festival set. It was a wonderful mix of the old and the new, and they
Yeah.
maintained the energy throughout. And so
Right.
I went back and I listened to the Bellingham boards a few days ago, and I texted in our group chat of my core crew and I said, dude, if you haven't listened to the Bellingham boards,
Yeah.
please,
It
because
rips.
they were able, it rips, and
Yeah.
like they were able to maintain this incredible energy throughout the
Yep.
entire show, mixing this beautiful ebb and flow of brand new stuff and stuff that we've been seeing for 10 years.
Yep.
Sure. And yeah, it reads like that, right? And not I really appreciate I can't tell you how much I appreciate that take about kind of giving you a taste of certain songs, because now I'm reading every single set list differently. That Poseidon in between the meta meme and I know I'm jumping a little bit ahead here, but just like that kind of placement within a festival, a super high energy festival set, it
Yeah.
just, it
For them to find that gear,
yeah.
to put aside 6 minutes and 15 seconds to make sure that the new kids who are at the show know that, hey, we can fuck up a dub track too.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna start with a dance floor bomb, a pop disco bomb, then we're gonna get into a drum and bass classic, and then we're gonna get into some dub. So they're flexing quite a bit of muscles early on in
Yeah.
the show.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and we get our first opening slot for this first clip that we're gonna go over here. It's been kind of in the slot of further on and later on in the show, so I thought it was really cool to see them open with Life's a Symphony and Unity. It's all right. So that's our first clip from Bellingham. the sheer athleticism. I mean, like this is so impressive. Like what the fuck? That is
Dude,
fucking grown person strength right there. That's Duncan
um,
from the free throw line.
you
Like a
use the word
machine.
you
Yeah.
use the word galloping from time to time, Nate.
Yeah.
This is a galloping song. It's
Hmm.
especially at the beginning of a set. I mean, this is trotting into battle at high speed. Hunter Brown is leading us, pointing his guitar like this.
Yeah.
Um,
Shit makes me want to steal home plate, honestly.
Like, can you imagine being a first timer? Like
Yeah.
you've never
right.
even heard them on Spotify before. You've never listened to anything. You don't know
Hmm.
who the hell these people are.
Sure.
And you're like,
How do you not get down with that? I mean
that's
that
what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
this is a cool exercise to hear what your report was of so many people of new people that were there, and when I'm going back to these songs now, I'm trying to put myself
Uh-huh.
in that headspace of like, man, like forget of anything that you have heard before. If this was like the first thing that you were hearing, um,
Right.
yeah, I'd be like, this is a sports team. This is,
Yeah.
um, and then like you said, that energy being maintained with the meta meme, whether a meta meme is 15 minutes or 7 minutes, it rips, and it's a great muscle flex, and you go from a dance floor pop funk disco bomb to really chill fucking sick like drum and bass with some rock elements in there, right? And then Poseidon, a dub jam here, right? Guys, my highlight of this show was the Golden Gate uh, family affair when the dust settles here. Your guys' thoughts on this section? Because we opened the show with the clip of it. Um, that whole when the dust settles was really really strongly executed, but I don't want to know what you guys think.
You go first.
Yeah, I mean, I also agree that I love this section. Um, Again, being a first timer, like putting yourself in the shoes of a first timer, okay? So
Mhm.
some of these songs that they got, like Poseidon, Golden Gate, When the Dust Settles, they sprinkled in the Family Affair,
Yeah.
all of those that they got in that order, right? Those are some of the ones that sucked me in. That
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I love that. And
Mhm.
so I feel like this momentum that they built throughout this set, yeah, I think new fans were born for sure, because that would have pulled me in.
Yeah,
Like that was the part that made me regret not being there.
Mhm.
it feels immediate when you're new, it feels immediately familiar. And when you've been seeing them for as long as all we have now, it's stuff that makes you nostalgic back to those first times, right?
Yes.
But
That's a great observation.
it's fresh. It's like
Yes.
you've never heard it, and the sound design. I don't know, man. Like they keep. I asked Zach in Nashville if there's anything different about when the dust settles because it just sounds like it just has a little bit more beef to it, and he swears that there's not. But I don't know, man. It sounds like they've really refined that one over the last few months. So
I, I mean, a mid-set family affair.
mhm.
Cool.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
sick. That is usually a show opener, typically paired with Dust. But cool to just kind of sprinkle that in a place where you don't normally see it. And going back once again to your point about kind of giving you a taste right where you don't expect it. My eyebrows did that when that started because it's like, oh, that's really really cool right there. I thought that was awesome.
oh,
So one other note about Family Affair being sprinkled in there. One of my buddies that was boots on the ground, he made the comment of, I think the band was really excited to see a lot of our faces of the people that like travel to see them a lot at that festival set.
mm,
And so I think, and he was like, you could tell that it kind of meant a lot to them, that we didn't just make the Portland or the Seattle shows, we made that festival set too.
Sure.
And so I feel like that sprinkle of It's a Family Affair, it was almost a nod to like those who did make all 4 nights of
Yeah.
like, hey, like, thanks for being here. Thanks for ushering in these new cats with us, you know?
yep,
It's cool. I like that.
love it. So we get another portal. Again, second night in a row. I don't know how we're gonna find that, Scotty. Of when the last time that we've heard the same song two nights in a row, but I'll give him a pass here on this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good song. Like I've
Yeah.
said it already. Like I when you see it when you see it on paper twice, like I'm not gonna lie, the reaction is, what? Why? Then you hear it and you're like, okay, I'd want to play it again too.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to although norms are norms, and so when those norms get broken, people are going to be a little, whatever they are. There's no rules here. There's
Right.
nothing saying that they can't do this. And they could do it with songs that are a lot less interesting. This is a really cool song that if we want it to be 8 minutes, they're going to have to play a lot of different versions of it in different ways. So
Yeah, they're going to get
I
their
don't know.
reps in for sure.
Yeah, get your reps in.
Um,
Stretch it,
I
stretch it out. Let's go.
I think it serves a really nice purpose here in this set list where you're getting sensory overload from that end of it when the dust settles,
Sure.
where it's kind of like when Fish plays Lifeboy after a tweezer or something like that. Like where you get hit with a ballad after a 40-minute jam, right?
Yeah.
Where okay, it's I wouldn't say the song's a ballad, but it gives you a second to kind of catch your breath.
Sure.
And hit some maybe slower dance moves than giving yourself whiplash at the end of a When the Dust Settles, right? And then straight back to whiplash with Shaky Ground after that. Yeah, I thought Scotty, did you get a chance to listen to the Shaky Ground from Seattle first?
I did not.
Okay.
Well,
before next week, I want to hear your thoughts on it because I know that you just thought after that instantly it was a little bit unnecessary, right?
Yes.
But I think Lauren could have my back that the Seattle Shaky Ground was one of the best that we've heard so far, right?
And I've seen a lot of shaky ground over the past
Hmm.
year, honestly, because like I've done a lot of runs over this past year, and as they've been
Hmm.
like debuting shaky ground, but yeah, shaky ground is not only like on the boards, it's fire, but like in person at the shows, I feel like shaky ground is one of the most like rip roaring through the crowd type
Yeah,
songs that I've seen
it's
in a long
hyphy.
time.
Yep.
Like the crowd gets so excited for shaky ground,
Yep.
and I love that. I love being a part of that.
Sure, the kids loved it for sure. So that brings us to our next clip of the song following Shaking Ground. Back to the well with that exit scene.
about goddamn time, dude. With this one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh.
No. I'm not talking about in terms of when it's being played, in terms of doing this with it. You know, like this song has always had so much potential. And we're 39 episodes deep. I think we really need to make the caveat that we have no problem with vocals and songs. You know, we did 3 hours with Maureen Murphy. Like we love some vocals. But the ones in this one, I don't know, everything around it didn't feel like the vocals were deserved. Where does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like,
no, like earn it. Like be
yeah,
as evil as possible. And
right.
this one was as evil as possible. I got a lot of evil fish over the weekend, so getting an evil soundtrack was good here as well.
Yeah.
And it had been a while. It had been since Oakland that they played it. So
Okay.
yeah, I've always really liked Walk to the Light.
Me too.
I get that it can be super polarizing to other pieces in their catalog. But like you said, Scotty, when they start doing shit like this to it, where Alana's just digging a fucking hole to China with the fret tracks. Yeah, this was an easy decision on the clip from this show here.
I think it's the first one we've clipped.
Yeah.
I want to land the plane on Walk to the Light because I love this song too. And I think that if this song had been growing like this for the past, when was it premiered? Alana's first night at Red Rocks, 2014.
Yeah.
Nobody would have a goddamn thing to say about this song except for something good, you know. And I love the way that they did it here, where it's not like an added section to the end somewhere. I mean, this is 3 minutes of beef before you get. I mean, we're what, 5.5 minutes deep by the time the vocal chorus starts. Like, yeah, son. Like, give me all that Jamaican dude singing at that point. Like, I am ready for it, because like Phipps is fucking digging that Exodus tease. They're gonna play the fuck out of Exodus when they finally bust that thing out again.
Yeah.
That
Second
thing is like,
Exodus tease in 2 nights, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
The last one during the Gob Nugget, right? And then during Walk to the Light, and kind of fits that Jamaican theme of this song.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, your thoughts, Lauren?
Yeah, I mean, Walk to the Light has always been a favorite of mine. And again, going back to the thoughts of who is at this show, right? I feel like this is another one of those songs that's gonna pull you on in. And so I'm stoked that this was part of this set, because that was, again, one of the songs that I was like, it's one of, I always call, when I go see STS9, I say it's the filling of my cup. Okay. Like my energetic cup. This, y'all are filling that. Okay. It's the community, it's the music, it's the dancing, it's the all of it, right? And it's certain songs too. And Walk to the Light is one of those songs that makes me feel like I'm full. And so, yeah, I like it with the vocals. I like it without the vocals. Again, as somebody who, it's one of the songs that pulled them in because of the vocals and having something to scream to while I'm at the show. I like that.
Yeah, because this song's gonna bring in somebody that, that everything else might not hook you. Like, everyone has to have that aha moment to become a crazy person about this band.
Exactly.
If your aha moment is Walk to the Light, then welcome to the fucking club. Let's go. Like,
Yep. Let's unpack the rest. Absolutely. Cool. So yeah, we got one more clip here from the Pacific Northwest, and really fun segue to finish out the music listening portion here. right. I think we went 1 for 2 on very well executed segues involving Your Infinity from the Pacific Northwest shows. I
Hmm.
love the idea uh Mischief into Your Infinity, but man, this one I know Scotty have been talking about kind of hearing the spectacle in that last synth ending of Your Infinity, but
Yeah.
this married with Inspire, I hadn't even thought of that.
Hmm.
Especially with how they've been playing Inspire with this like grittier keyboard synth
Uh-huh.
intro. Match made in heaven, A plus. Lauren, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was just buttery. Like the way that
Yeah.
they slid into that, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there it is.
Hmm. And it's funny because I don't know if I've said it on air or not, but that was the first thing I thought was Inspire when I heard the new section of Your Infinity. And as I was listening to it again today, I was just listening in my car. I'd kind of completely forgotten the set list, and I had the thought again, like, damn, dude, this would really work with Inspire. And then a minute later, I was like, oh, that's right, because it did work with Inspire, because they did it. Like, a absolute chef's kiss example of what we're talking about, marrying some of these songs that already feel and sound very old. I think we've gotten enough of the human dream, even without the second EP or the rest of the album, to know that this feels as 2005y as it does 2025y. And that's why so many of these songs work so well with the bedrock material, like an Inspire.
Hmm.
That's it just this is a really really fun rollout, and they're kind of showing you like, look what we've done, look how this works, look what we've built here. And there's so many examples of it that we've covered up to this point. And it's not the close of the set, you get a Click Lang Echo after this, but the thing that we keep beating about this set is the people that are here that have never seen this band for the first time. And like, can you imagine? You're just like, oh, they can do this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I feel like
that last segues for the heads too, man.
Hmm.
Like Lauren was saying, you hear them like because it wasn't like you hear them kind of drop out of Your Infinity and like they keep the drums going and you're almost like okay, and then you'd hear the you'd be like
Hmm.
holy fuck yes.
dude, so I like to play this game. I've been like trying to learn like song names better, like in calling what things are, right? And which is a
Mhm.
task, right? Been listening to the
Yeah.
band and seeing the band for 7 years, but like there's still times that I'm like, I don't know, like I can hum every note to it, but I don't know what it is, right? So when I listen to boards, I go in blind. I don't like read through. I just like hit play and then I try to guess, right? So
Ah, that's a good way to do it.
when I was listening, it's great practice, honestly.
Hmm.
But when I was listening to this board, I was driving home from work and this hit, like that transition hit, and I was like, oh, are you kidding me? Like it was exactly the are you kidding me moment.
It's
Yep.
very, very good.
Super playful, and again, more athleticism on display. Um, and yeah, finishing up with Cookang Echo is a great bow for it for sure. So
Yeah.
again, just
One
the
another song that
flow.
drew me in.
Hmm.
Click
Yep.
Clang was one of those that was like,
Hmm.
oh,
So the flow of this set list, man, really really awesome stuff. So that's it. Lauren, we can't thank you enough for joining us on late notice here. This was a ton of fun. Hopefully you had fun as well here. Sure
yeah,
we'll have you back at some point. But yeah, you talked about Asheville at the beginning of the episode in terms of the fan meetup that you guys are doing, but that's what we're gonna be getting you guys ready for next week.
Should we
Scotty,
announce it?
yes.
no, give us a little do you want to announce it?
I don't know. We've never announced a guest this big beforehand
Mm,
before. So I don't know if that means we should now or if we shouldn't.
let's do it. Let's do it. Tell the people who we got. So, obviously, with the theme of artifact and human dream,
There,
and
yeah,
yeah,
there was more than just the band involved in writing Artifact, and we have the voice to some of the most iconic STS9 songs, whether it's Better Day or People's, or numerous covers that she's done on stage with them over the years. Music Us. We're bringing Audio Angel on next week, and we're very, very excited to have her. She's more than just a wonderful collaborator with STS9. She's got her own projects and a few things that a lot of you guys might not be aware of. So our audio spotlight next week is none other than Audio Angel, getting ready for those first Artifact Human Dream shows.
Lauren, initial reaction, exciting stuff.
Stoked. That's gonna be super sweet. I love to hear that. I'm really excited to hear that.
Yeah, we could not be more
That's awesome,
pumped.
dude.
But Lauren, thanks for joining us. You were great here
Yeah,
tonight.
thanks for having me. It was
You're
super
so
fun and
good. You were
Yeah.
so good. I knew you would be, but like, I mean, seriously, we record this at 7 o'clock, guys. I text her at 5:45, and this is what she did. So thank you. You
I was
were
like, hold on,
wonderful.
let me get home and set up my Zoom. Like, sure.
We appreciate you to no end. Thank you so
But
much.
no, yeah, it's great to be involved. I love watching every week, and I love the point of conversation that this creates, within the community, and texting other friends that watch every week and being like, "Yo, what do you think about this?" So I'm stoked to be involved. And again, just like you said, how do you feel walking out of your 50th? The same as now. Like grateful. I'm so glad to be part of all of this.
Yep. Yeah,
It's the
it
light of
could,
my life, so.
you'll be trying to work off that post podcast energy for a little bit here. You might be going to bed a little bit later than
Yeah,
usual.
That's all
it's
right.
kind of like a show. Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you everybody. Like Lauren just mentioned, for all you guys that are watching and listening. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, throw us a like, throw us a review, throw us a comment, throw us a subscribe, whatever you're doing to feel nice. But like we said, like Scotty said, we'll be back next week with Audio Angel to get you guys ready for all things Asheville. So have a great weekend, guys. Much love.